First. Conversation with God. Source: ChatGPT. Conversations with God is a series of books written by American spiritual writer Neale Donald Walsch, the most famous of which is the Conversations with God series. This series consists of several books, the first 3 of which are parts 1, 2, and 3 of Conversations with God. The core content of this series is that the author claims that he communicates with God through a series of conversations, and records these conversations to share with readers. In these conversations, the author asks many profound questions about life, the universe, love, faith, and the meaning of life, and claims to receive responses from God. These books aroused widespread attention and discussion after their publication, attracted the interest of many people, and became one of the sources of spiritual growth and inspiration. However, these books have also received some criticism, with some questioning whether the dialogues are truly from God, or simply the author's own imagination and creation. Regardless, this series remains a fascinating read that may provide some inspiration and thought for those seeking to explore the meaning of life and spiritual growth. Source: blog. A man who has been married 5 times and has 9 children, when his personal career was at its worst, he suddenly wrote this amazing book with a stroke of genius. In this book, God directly discusses with you through the author all aspects of your life and all aspects of your life. What is the purpose of human life? Will I never have enough money? What have I done to deserve a life of constant struggle? If there really is an almighty God, how come there are so many disasters in this world? I believe everyone has asked this type of question, but often has no solution. Now, all these questions will be answered one by one. In these conversations, God also made revolutionary suggestions for the earth regarding society, education, politics, economics, and theology, which we have never seen or even rarely thought of. These conversations are both fascinating and tumultuous, challenging and empowering. Fascinating because the depth and breadth of these words are breathtaking, tumultuous because they reveal to us who we are in all of humanity, challenging because they inspire us to grow more than we have before, inspiring us to become a new world. The origin, promotion is because God believes that all of this is hopeful and can be achieved. Even if we don't believe that these information really come from God, as the author said, I have no intention of convincing. It doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. I am just sharing it. So the important thing is, the value of this information lies in the insights it brings us and the awakening power it brings to us, allowing us to rekindle a new desire for life and produce more effective promotion and reform of our lives on this earth. Second. Neale Donald Walsch. Source: ChatGPT. Neale Donald Walsch is a well-known author best known for his series Conversations with God. This series of books includes several works, the most famous of which is Conversations with God, an uncommon dialogue. In these books, Neale Walsch claimed that through a series of conversations, he communicated with God and shared his revelations and understandings. The Conversations with God series of books are presented in the form of dialogues, in which God answers various questions raised by the author Neale Walsch, covering a wide range of topics such as life, religion, and human existence. These books are popular with many people because they provide a unique perspective that can lead readers to think and explore the deeper meaning of life. However, it should be noted that the Conversations with God series of books has caused some controversy in the realm of religion and spirituality. Some have expressed doubts about the veracity of Neale Walsch's claims that he had real conversations with God, while others have differing opinions about the ideas and perspectives contained in these books. Regardless, these books provide a perspective worth exploring and have inspired many people to think about spiritual matters. Source: Wikipedia. Neale Donald Walsch, English, Neale Donald Walsch, September 10, 1943, American writer, author of the Conversations with God series, international best-selling author, works on spirituality and personal growth, explores the deep issues of individuals, society, and the soul. Third. God does not exist objectively. Source: ChatGPT. Whether God exists or not is a question involving faith, philosophy, and personal opinions, so different people may have different views. Some people believe that God exists objectively, that is, God is an entity that exists in the universe and interacts with our reality. This belief is found in many religious and theological traditions. However, some people hold a different view and believe that God exists subjectively, that is, God is a concept that exists in the individual's mind or consciousness, rather than an entity independent of the material world. This view is reflected in some religious philosophies, non-religious spiritualism, and philosophical thought. Therefore, there is no absolutely correct answer to the question of whether God exists objectively, but it depends on personal beliefs, opinions, and background. This is a deep and complex issue, and everyone may have their own unique opinions and beliefs. Source: Wikipedia. The question of whether God exists, refers to the questions and discussions about the existence of God, in Western philosophy and theology. There has long been a debate in Western society about the existence of God. Over thousands of years, many theologians, philosophers, and scientists have tried to prove the existence of God. These arguments mainly involve philosophical ontology and epistemology and other fields. Various relevant arguments include arguments based on metaphysics, arguments based on logic, empirical arguments, subjective arguments, etc. To this day, the debate over the existence of God continues. Relevant views and discussions can be found in philosophy, religion, and popular culture. Fourth. God's fragment human. Source: ChatGPT. The concept of God fragment may refer to a concept in certain religious or philosophical views that refers to humans possessing characteristics or elements of the divine or divinity in some way. This concept is often associated with religious, mystical, or spiritual ideas. According to this concept, humans are considered to be part of God, or humans have characteristics or essences that are part of God. This may mean that humans are spiritually connected to God, or possess some special ability or potential related to God. In some religious and philosophical traditions, this concept may be associated with one's spiritual growth and awakening. By practicing methods such as meditation, prayer, and spiritual practice, people can realize their connection with God and develop their inner divine qualities. Although this concept may have different interpretations in different religions and philosophies, it all implies the profound idea that there is some form of connection or similarity between humans and gods. Source: Seungdeok AI. Through practicing soul awakening, we can break all frames and limitations, and in the process of practicing, fragments of divinity will also appear. These fragments may come from our past identity, such as what kind of God we were, or which God we were closer to, what job we were assigned to, and then you will have fragments of his divinity. Not everyone has divinity fragments. The process of spiritual practice requires patience and persistence, just like the process of peeling an onion slowly and with patience. When awakened, we will go to the original consciousness. At that time, there will be less greed, anger, and delusion, and the radiance of divinity will shine on us. Therefore, breaking out of the frame is crucial. Although your body may be limited by the framework of the material world, your soul cannot be limited. Your soul pursues freedom and love. Only when you act in accordance with this guidance can your spiritual path be carried out in compassion and harmony, and influence yourself and the people and things around you. Even when dealing with demons, ghosts, or living beings, one needs to have the greatest love and compassion, and be willing to shed sacred tears for all living beings. Fifth. Soul. Source: ChatGPT. The soul is a core concept in many religious, philosophical, and spiritual traditions, describing the spiritual essence or being that transcends the physical body. While different cultures and belief systems may understand the soul differently, it is generally considered to be unique and eternal. Here are some common opinions and explanations. Religious perspective: in many religions, the soul is seen as being created by God and possessing qualities that connect it to God. The soul is generally considered to be immortal, continuing to exist after the death of the physical body and may undergo reincarnation, heaven, hell, or other forms of subsequent life. Philosophical perspective: in philosophy, the soul is often viewed as the essence of human beings or the core of consciousness. Some philosophers believe that the soul is an independent entity separate from the body, while others believe that it is the connection between the body and consciousness. Spiritual perspective: in spiritual practices, the soul is often viewed as the link between humans and the universe, an expression of inner wisdom and divinity. Through spiritual practices, people can explore and develop their souls for personal growth and awakening. Although there are many different views on the nature of the soul, it is generally considered to be one of the cores of human existence, representing a spiritual dimension beyond the physical world. The existence and meaning of the soul can be significant in an individual's faith and spiritual exploration. Source: Wikipedia. The soul, in religion, philosophy, and mythology from ancient times to the present, is described as the invisible essence that determines the past and present lives. It resides in and dominates human or other material bodies. It is a supernatural phenomenon. The soul can also be separated from these. The body exists independently, and some believe that the soul is eternal. There is also controversy over whether a person's soul exists after his body disappears. Philosophy of life, religious beliefs, and myths and stories are the three main cultural categories that influence human beings' view of the soul. Few people have ever experienced the state of unconsciousness near death, so they cannot imagine what death will feel like. Scholars generally believe that it is just an emotional thought caused by people's desire to believe that death is not the end. Fear management theory asserts that psychic continuation beliefs, behaviors, and mentality are all reactions of people in order to reduce the extreme anxiety about self-non-existence. Its proponents believe that there is a secret defense mechanism in the human heart specifically designed to suppress the fear of death. 4. Special. 50 core ideas of conversations with God. 1. God speaks to everyone at every moment. God says, "This is how I always talk to everyone." The question is not who am I talking to, but who is listening. Take Christ as an example. Why do some people seem to hear God's messages better than others? That's because there are people who are willing to actually listen. They are willing to listen, and they are willing to remain open to such communications even when the message seems scary, or crazy, or just plain wrong. I can't tell you my truth until you stop telling me your truth. All people are special and all moments are precious as gold. No one person or moment is more special than another. Let us replace the word speak with the word communicate. Communication is a much better, much more fulfilling, much more correct word. I invite you to participate in a new kind of communication with God. A two-way communication. In fact, you invited me. My most common method of communication is through feelings. Feelings are the language of the soul. I also use my thoughts to communicate. My most powerful message is experience, but you also ignore this. You especially ignored this. And finally, when feelings, thoughts, and experiences fail, I use words. They are most susceptible to misinterpretation and are most easily misunderstood. The greatest irony, however, is that you all place so much importance on the word of God that you despise experience. Listen to your feelings. Listen to your highest thoughts. Please listen to your experience. If anything differs from what your teachers told you or what you read in a book, forget it. Words are the least reliable purveyors of truth. 2. The highest thinking is the thinking that contains joy. The highest thoughts are always those that contain joy, the clearest words are always those that contain truth, and the highest feelings are those that you call love. Not all feelings, all thoughts, all experiences, and all words come from me. The problem is discernment. The difficulty lies in discerning which messages are from God and which are from other sources. Distinguishing is simple by applying one basic rule: your highest thoughts, your clearest words, your most sublime feelings come from me. Anything less comes from other sources. The highest thought is always that which contains joy. The clearest words are always those that contain truth. The most sublime feeling is that which you call love. Joy, truth, love. The three are interchangeable, and one always leads to the other, regardless of their order. 3. The correct prayer is a prayer of thanksgiving. You won't get what you ask for, and you won't have anything you want. This is because the request itself is a statement of lack. When you say you want something, it only creates the experience of wanting in your reality. Therefore, the right prayer is never a prayer of supplication, but a prayer of thanksgiving. Thank you is the most powerful statement you can make to God, a statement that confirms I have answered even before you ask. But you cannot use gratitude as a tool to manipulate God, as a way to fool the designs of the universe. The process of prayer becomes much easier when you stop thinking that God will always yes to any request and instead intuitively understand that the request itself is not necessary at all. Then the prayer becomes a prayer of thanksgiving. It is not a request at all, but a statement of gratitude for reality as it is. For your will for yourself is also God's will for you. Everything is a divine existence. God created you in His image. Through the power God gave you, you created the rest. God created the process of life as you know it and life itself. But God has also given you free choice, and you can live your life however you want. In this view, your will for yourself is also God's will for you. You just live your life in your own way. I don't have any preferences in this matter. God's plan is for you to create anything everything no matter what you want. In this freedom lies the experience of God as God, and it is for this experience that I created you, and life itself. God has given man the freedom of choice and creation. Man's free choice and creation is a state of God. I despise nothing. God is in sorrow and laughter, in bitterness and sweetness. Everything is acceptable in God's eyes. They are life, and life is a gift, an indescribable treasure, the sacred of the sacred. There is a divine purpose behind everything, therefore there is a divine presence in everything. I am life because I am the essence of what life is. Every aspect of it has a divine purpose. 5. Love and fear are the fundamental starting points of all human behavior. All human behavior is motivated at its deepest level by one of two emotions, fear or love. There are really only these two emotions, these are the only two words in the language of the soul. However, if you know who you are, the most majestic, greatest, most glorious being that God ever created, you will never be afraid. Every human thought, word, or action is based on one emotion or another. You have no choice about this because there is nothing else to choose from. But between the two, you are free to choose one. 6. Life is not a process of discovery, but a process of creation. All life has only one purpose, and that is for you and all living things to experience the fullest glory. The amazing thing about this purpose is that it never ends. An end is a limitation, but God's purpose has no such limits. One of the deepest secrets is, life is not a process of discovery, but a process of creation. You are not discovering yourself, you are recreating yourself. So, not only to figure out who you are, but also who you want to be. You are here to remember and recreate who you are. 7. God created relativity, and you define what you are by what you are not. I am everything, visible and invisible. All that is cannot know himself, for all that is all that is, and nothing else. Therefore, all that is not present. So, in order to know myself, God created relativity, God's greatest gift to himself. Therefore, relationships are God's greatest gift to you, a topic that will be discussed in more detail later. I created you, my spiritual children, for the purpose of realizing myself as God. There is no other way for me to do this but through you. So it can be said, and has been said many times. What I want you to do is, you should realize that you are me. This seems so amazingly simple, but it becomes very complicated, because there is only one way for you to realize yourself as me, and that is, first of all, you have to realize that you are not me. The ultimate logic is that you cannot experience what you think you are until you face what you are not. This is the purpose of the theory of relativity in relation to all concrete life. You have to define what you are by what you are not. 8. Remember who you are always part of the divine whole. You make yourself forget who you really are. In entering the physical universe, you give up the memory of yourself. This gives you the choice to be who you are. In the act of choosing to be a part of God rather than just being told that you are a part of God, you experience that you have a complete choice, and that is, by definition, the very essence of God. However, how can you make a choice about something that is not a choice? No matter how hard you try, you can't be my son or daughter, but you can forget. You are, always have been and always will be a part of the divine whole, a member of the whole body. That is why the act of rejoining the whole, returning to God, is called remembrance. You really choose to remember who you really are, or to combine the different parts of you to experience all of you, which is all of me. So your job in the world is not to learn, for you already know that, but to remember again who you are. And recollect who each other is. That's why a big part of your job is to remind others so they can remember it too. All the best spiritual masters do is just this. This is your sole purpose. That is, your sole purpose. 9. Don't condemn everything in the world that you call bad. Don't condemn everything you call bad in the world. There are no victims in the universe. Don't criticize the karmic path others take. Stop condemning everything you call bad in the world. Rather, ask yourself, what is it about this that you judge to be bad, and do you want to do anything to change it? Because all life exists as a tool for you to create for yourself, and all events represent only an opportunity for you to decide who you are. This is true for every soul, so, see, there are no victims in the universe, only creators. Each soul is creating situations and circumstances for his own highest purpose and his own happiest memories, in each moment called the present. Therefore, do not judge others for the karmic path they are taking. Don't be jealous of success, and don't pity failure, because you don't know who is successful and who is failure in the judgment of your soul. Don't judge something as a disaster or a joyous event until you decide, or witness, how it is used. This does not mean that you should ignore others' cries for help, nor does it mean that you should ignore your own soul's urge to change certain circumstances or situations. Rather, avoid labels and judgment in everything you do. Because every situation is a gift, and in every experience there is a hidden treasure. A thing is right or wrong just because you say it is. Nothing is inherently right or wrong. Right or wrong is not an inherent condition, it is a subjective judgment in the personal value system. Through your subjective judgment, you create yourself, through your personal value, you decide and express who are you. 10. Bless the disaster and be the light that illuminates the darkness. Bless the disaster, be the light that shines into the darkness, and make a statement to the universe about who you are. Be the light that illuminates the darkness, don't curse the darkness. In moments when you are surrounded by not you, don't forget who you are. Even when you want to change creation, praise it. And understand that what you do during your greatest trials may be your greatest victories. Because the experience you create is a statement of who you are and who you want to be. There are no victims, no villains. You are also not a victim of other people's choices. Yet, at some level, you all created what you say you hate, created it and chose it. For the purpose of soul evolution, you collectively and individually create the life and times you experience. There is only one reason to do anything, to make a statement to the universe about who you are. The Master blesses disaster because the Master understands that his growth comes from the seeds of disaster, and all experience. The Master's second purpose in life is always growth. Because once one has achieved complete self-actualization, there is nothing left to do except more self-actualization. At this stage a person moves from the work of the soul to the work of God. 11. Pain is the result of wrong thinking. You create this experience yourself. You can't change external events. Because that was created by many of you, and your consciousness has not yet grown to the point where you can individually change what was collectively created. So you have to change your inner experience. This is the path to taking control in your life. Nothing is painful in itself. Suffering is the result of wrong thinking. It is a fallacy in thinking. Pain comes from your criticism of something. Take away the criticism and the pain disappears. There are no shoulds or shouldn'ts in God's world. Do what you want. But don't criticize or accuse, because you don't know why things happen or for what purpose. Bless everything because everything is created by God through living life, and that is the highest creation. Hell is the experience of the worst possible consequences of your choices, decisions, and creations. It is the natural consequence of any thought that negates me or says no to who you are in relation to me. It is the pain you suffer because of wrong thoughts. However, even the term wrong thinking is a misnomer because there is no such thing as being wrong. Hell is the opposite of joy. It is not perfect. It is knowing who and what you are but not being able to experience it. It is less than your essence. That is hell, and there can be no greater pain for your soul. I'm telling you, there is no such experience after death as you construct in your fear-based theories. However, the soul has an experience that is so unhappy, so imperfect, so incomplete, and takes you so far away from God's greatest joy that it can be hellish for your soul. But I tell you, I didn't send you there, and I didn't cause you to have this experience. But every time you separate yourself in any way from the highest idea of yourself, every time you reject who or what you really are, it is you, yourself, who creates this experience. You are your own judge of the rules, and you are the only one who can evaluate how well you are doing. You can do what you wish without fear of retribution. However, it is useful for you to be aware of the consequences beforehand. Consequences are just consequences. These are completely different from retribution or punishment. What seems to you like punishment or what you call evil or bad luck is simply the law of nature asserting itself. 12. The purpose of the soul is to realize itself in the body. You will live the life you imagined Adam and Eve lived, not as disembodied spirits in the absolute realm, but as embodied spirits in the relative realm. And, you will have all the wisdom, understanding, and power of the soul you are. You will be a fully realized being. This is your soul's purpose. This is its purpose, to fully realize itself when it is in the body, to become the embodiment of all that it really is. This is my plan for you. This is my ideal, I realize it through you. In this way, the concept is transformed into experience, and I can know myself through experience. 13. Your potential is unlimited. Your potential is limitless, and every event and adventure your soul calls to you. There is nothing you cannot be and there is nothing you cannot do. There is nothing you cannot have. You can be, do, and have anything you can imagine. To believe in God is to believe in God's greatest gift, unconditional love, and God's greatest promise, infinite potential. You do not choose in advance the life you will experience. However, you can choose the tasks, places, and events that create your experience, conditions and situations, challenges and obstacles, opportunities and choices. Your potential is limitless in all that you choose to do. So don't say for sure that a soul incarnated in what you call a limited body cannot reach its full potential because you don't know what that soul wants to do. You don't understand his life agenda. You have no idea what his intentions are. So bless and give thanks to everyone in every situation. In this way, you affirm the perfection of God's creation and demonstrate your faith in him. Because in God's world there are no accidents, nothing is a coincidence, and nothing happens by accident. Everything and every adventure is called to you by your soul so that you can create and experience who you really are. The world is the way it is because of you and the choices you have made or failed to make. Not making a decision is still a decision. 14. Enter into other people's souls and communicate spiritually, allowing each soul to go its own way. Why did Christ choose to make some suffer and some heal? And speaking of which, why would God allow anyone to suffer? There is perfection in the process, and all life is by choice. It is inappropriate to interfere with the choice or question it. It is even more inappropriate to condemn it. So what is appropriate? Observe it, and then do what you can to assist that soul in finding and making a higher choice. So, pay attention to other people's choices, but don't judge them. Know that their choice is perfect for this moment, yet be ready to help them if they should seek a newer choice, a different choice, a higher choice. By entering into the souls of others and communing with them, their purpose, their intentions, becomes clear. Allow each soul to go its own way. 15. Love is everything. There are 3 laws of the universe. 1. Thought is creative. 2. Fear attracts similar energy. 3. Love is everything. Love is the ultimate reality. It is the only, all reality. The feeling of love is your experience of God. In its highest truth, love is everything, everything that has ever been and everything that will ever be. When you enter the Absolute, you enter love. Fear is the other side of love. The masters who have lived on earth are those who have discovered the secrets of the relative world but refuse to acknowledge its reality. In short, masters are those who choose only love. In every moment, every circumstance, even when they are being killed, they love their murderers. Through all the corridors through which humanity passes, this truth echoes, love is the answer. 16. There are no coincidences in the universe, God is in every way. What do you think brought you to this material? How did you get it in your hand? Do you think I don't know what I'm doing? There are no coincidences in the universe. I hear the cry of your heart. I see the pursuit of your soul. I understand the depth of your desire for truth. You call it in pain and in joy. You beg me endlessly to reveal myself, to explain myself, to reveal myself. I am doing this now, in such plain words that you will not misunderstand. In such simple language that you won't get confused. With such ordinary vocabulary, you will not get lost in the redundancy. So come on and ask me anything. Anything. I'll try to give you the answer. It would take me the entire universe to do it. So pay attention. This book is not my only tool. Not even close. You can ask a question and then put the book down. But watch. Listen. The lyrics of the next song you hear, the information in the next article you read, the plot of the next movie you watch, the unintentional words of the next person you meet, or the next river, the next whisper of the ocean, the next breeze caressing your ears, all of these are designed by me, all of these avenues are open to me. If you will listen to me speak to you. If you invite me, I will come. Then I will show you that I am always there. On all roads. 17 God has no needs, but is full of desires. I have no need. There is no such thing as the 10 Commandments. God's word is not a commandment, but a covenant. These are your freedoms, not your limitations. These are my covenants, not my commandments. I don't want anything. That doesn't mean I don't have desires. Desires and needs are not the same thing. Desire is the beginning of all creation. It is the first thought. It is a sublime feeling within the soul. It is God choosing what to create next. And what is God's desire? First, I would like to know and experience myself, in all my glory know who I am. I couldn't have done this before I invented you, and all the worlds in the universe. Second, I want you to know and experience who you truly are, through the power I give you to create and experience yourself in whatever way you choose. Third, I want every moment of my entire life to be an experience of unchanging joy, continual creation, never-ending expansion, and complete fulfillment. I have created a perfect system to make those desires come true. They are being realized now, right now. The only difference between you and me is that I know this. The moment you know it completely. That moment can happen to you at any time. You will feel the same complete joy, love, acceptance, blessings, and gratitude that I always feel. These are the 5 attitudes of God. 18 Think, speak, act like God, and live a conscious life. Everything you see in your world is the result of your thoughts about it. Do you want your life to really take off? Then change your mind about it. Think, speak, and act in the image of the God you are. Of course this will separate you from a lot of people, most of the people, who will call you crazy. They will call you blasphemous. And that truth, if adopted by others, would mean the end of their way of life. It means the end of hatred, fear, prejudice, and war. An end to the ongoing condemnation and killing in my name. Consciously change your thoughts, words, and actions to align with your biggest dreams. This requires extraordinary mental and physical effort. This requires regular and timely supervision of every thought, word, and behavior you have. This involves conscious and ongoing choice. This whole process is a majestic and powerful advance towards consciousness. If you take up this challenge, what you will discover is that half of your life has been lived unconsciously. This is a call for you to stop living so unconsciously. It is a challenge that your soul has been asking you to face since the beginning until it becomes second nature to you. In fact, it must be second nature to you. Your first nature is to love unconditionally. Your second nature is choosing to consciously express your first nature, your true nature. Accept who and what you are, and show it. This is what Jesus did. This is the path of Buddha, the path of Krishna, the path of every master who has ever walked this planet. And in the same way, every master brings the same message: what I am, you are also. What I can do, you can do too. You can do these things and more. You are goodness, compassion, mercy, and understanding. You are peace, joy, and light. You are forgiveness and patience, strength and courage, a helping hand in times of difficulty, comfort in times of sadness, healers in times of injury, and teachers in times of confusion. You are the deepest wisdom and the highest truth, the deepest silence and the greatest love. You are these things. And at some point in your life, you have known yourself to be these things. Choose to know yourself now and forever to be these things. 19 Listen to your soul. The soul is clear that its purpose is to evolve. That is its only purpose, the purpose of its soul. It is not concerned with physical achievements or mental development. These are meaningless to the soul. Frustration and anxiety come from not listening to your own soul. Listen to your soul, and the first thing you can do is figure out what your soul is after and stop judging it. What the soul pursues is the highest feeling of love you can imagine. This is the soul's desire. This is its purpose. The highest feeling is to experience oneness with all that island. This is the great return to truth that the soul longs for. This is the feeling of perfect love. Love is not the absence of emotions, hate, anger, lust, jealousy, greed, but the sum total of all feelings. Therefore, for the soul to experience perfect love, it must experience every human feeling. The purpose of the human soul is to experience everything, and therefore it can be everything. It seeks to experience to do perfect love. It is perfect love. It is seeking to become God. 20. You are creating your reality every minute. Life is a creation, not a discovery. You live every day not to discover what it has prepared for you, but to create it. You are creating your reality every minute, even though you may not be aware of it. You create on 3 levels. The tools of creation are thought, speech, and action. The process of creation must involve believing or knowing. This is absolute confidence. This is beyond hope. This is a certainty. According to your faith, you will be healed. The biggest key to creation: be grateful for it before you create it. Enjoy and celebrate all that you have created. If you find that you don't like something about creation, bless it and then change it. Choose again. Summons a new reality. Think of a new idea. Say something new. Do something new. Do it with great fanfare and the rest of the world will follow you. Call it follow. Call it to follow. Say, I am the life and the way, follow me. This is how God's will is demonstrated on earth as it is in heaven. Throw all negative thoughts out of your mind frame. Throw away all pessimism. Release all doubt. Reject all fear. Train your brain to hold on to original ideas. When your thoughts are clear and solid, begin to speak them as truth. Say them out loud. With that great imperative that calls forth the power of creation, I am. Use I am statements to others. I am is the most powerful creative statement in the universe. Whatever you think or say after the word I am will set them in motion and become your experience, calling them forward and bringing them to you. You always get what you invite. Your life is always a result of your thoughts about it. I do not judge you for the creation you bring about, I simply give you the power to bring more, more and more and more. If you don't like what you just created, choose again. As God, it is my job to always give you that opportunity. 21. The true way to God is within you. What is the true way to God? What I am telling you is that your answer lies within you. I say this to everyone who hears my words and seeks my truth. Every heart that sincerely asks what the way to God is shown that way. Each one is given a sincere truth. Follow the path of your heart to me, not the path of your head. In your mind you will never find me. Start with stillness. Let the outer world be quiet, and the inner world can bring you vision. And this inner vision, insight, is what you are seeking. But you cannot have this insight when you are so concerned with your external world. Therefore, try to seek to go within. If you don't go within, you will gain nothing. 22. Heaven is right now, here. There is no such thing as going to heaven. There is only an understanding that you are already there. It is an acceptance, an understanding, rather than striving or striving. You cannot go to where you are already. Enlightenment is understanding that there is nowhere to go, nothing to do, and that you don't have to be anyone other than who you are. So your so-called paradise is a place of no existence. Let's leave a little space between the words W and H, and you'll understand that heaven is right now, here. Know this, there is no such thing as a wrong way, because on this journey, you can't get short of where you are going. It's just a matter of speed, it's just a matter of when you arrive, but even that is an illusion, because there is no when, no before or after, only now, an eternity, an eternal moment in which you experience yourself. The point of life is not to get anywhere, life is to notice that you are already there and have always been there. The point of life is creation, creating who and what you are and then experiencing it. 23. Renunciation and never deny passion, passion is the way. All spirits eventually reject all that is not true, and nothing in the life you live is true except your relationship with me. However, the renunciation of self-denial in the traditional sense is not necessary. A true master doesn't give up on something. A true master simply sets it aside, as he would set aside anything that he no longer has any use for. What is resisted persists. What you contemplate will disappear. Don't judge what you feel passionate about. Just notice it and see if it works for you, for who or what you want to be. You are constantly creating your own actions. You decide who and what you are in each moment. You determine this largely through the choices you make about who or what you feel passionate about. Often what you call a person who is on the spiritual path looks as if he is abandoning all worldly passions, all human desires. But what he did was to understand it, to see the illusion clearly, and to turn away from passions that were useless to him, all the while loving the illusion because of the opportunity it had given him, the opportunity to be completely free. Passion is love that transforms existence into action. It is the fuel for the engine of creation. It turns ideas into experiences. Passion is the fire that encourages us to express who we really are. Never deny your passion, because that is denying who you are and who you really want to be. Renunciation never denies passion, renunciation only denies attachment to results, which is expectation. To live your life without expectations, without the need for definite results, that is freedom. That is what is like a god. That's how I live. The soul desires to do something about what it is so that it can know itself in its own experience. So it will try to realize its most noble ideas through actions. This desire for action is called passion. Kill passion and you kill God. Passion is God wanting to say hello. Masters know intuitively that passion is the path. It goes on the road to self-realization. Even in secular terms, it is fair to say that if you are not passionate about anything, you have no life at all. 24 Suffering is a clear sign that there is still something to learn and remember about God's ways. Suffering is an unnecessary part of the human experience. Suffering has nothing to do with the event but everything to do with one's reaction to it. What happens is simply what happens. How you feel about it is another matter. Suffering is not the way to God, but rather a clear symptom that there is still something to learn and remember about God's way. A true master will not suffer silently at all, but only show the appearance of suffering without complaint. The reason the true master does not complain is that the true master is not suffering, but is simply experiencing a set of circumstances that you would call intolerable. 25 Playing spiritual games means being fully engaged. Playing spiritual games means giving your whole mind, your whole body, your whole soul to the process of creating yourself in the image and likeness of God. This is the process of self-realization that Eastern mystics have written about, and it is also the process of redemption that has been much studied in Western theology. This is the work of transcendent consciousness day after day, hour after hour, minute by second. It is choice and rechoice in every moment. It is a continuous creation. Conscious creation. Create with purpose. It is taking advantage of the creative tools we have discussed and using them with awareness and noble intention. And now, how long have you been doing that? 26 True love makes people independent. Once you rise to the level of God consciousness, you will understand that you are not responsible to anyone else, and, while it is commendable to wish every soul a comfortable life, every soul must choose at every moment. All are choosing their own destiny. Let your love propel your loved one into the world, and into the full experience of who they are. Only by doing this can you truly love someone. Your responsibility is to make them independent. You are truly a blessing to them only when they realize that you are unnecessary. Likewise, God is happiest when you realize you don't need God. A true master is not the one who has the most students, but the one who creates the most masters. And a true God is not the one who has the most servants, but the one who serves the most people, thus making all others gods. My joy is in your freedom, not in your obedience. This is God's goal, and God's glory, that he no longer has subjects, and that all realize that God is not unattainable, but inevitable. Your happy destiny is inevitable. You can't help but be saved. There is no hell other than not understanding this. 27 Relationships are sacred, bless every relationship. Relationships are often challenging, often calling you to create, express, and experience higher and higher aspects of yourself, grander and grander visions of yourself, ever loftier versions of yourself. It is only through your relationships with other people, places, and events that you exist in the universe. So, bless every relationship, treat each one as special, and form who you are and who you choose to be now. The purpose of a relationship is to decide which parts of yourself you like to see come out, not which parts of the other person you can capture and keep. In relationships, and in life in general, there can only be one purpose, to do and decide who you really are. Relationships are sacred because they provide life's greatest opportunity, indeed, its only opportunity to create and craft the experience of your highest conception of yourself. 28 The most caring people are self-centered people. When you view relationships as experiences that create and produce your highest perceptions of others, relationships fail. Let everyone in the relationship only worry about himself, who he is doing and what he has, what he wants, demands and gives, what he is seeking, creating and experiencing, then all relationships are more than adequate for their purposes and for their participants. Let the people in the relationship not worry about others, but only worry about themselves. The most loving people are self-centered people. If you cannot love yourself, you cannot love others. Losing yourself in a relationship is what causes most of the pain in such unions. When you no longer see each other as holy souls on a holy journey, you lose sight of the reason and purpose behind all relationships. It is for the purpose of evolution that the soul enters the body. Who you are is what you create yourself to be in relationship to everything else. The most important factor in this process is your personal relationship. Your first relationship must be with yourself. You must first learn to respect, cherish, and love yourself. Before you can view others as valuable, you must first view yourself as valuable. Before you can see others as blessed, you must first see yourself as blessed. Before you can recognize the sacredness of others, you must first know yourself as sacred. The teachers all came with the same message, not I am holier than you, but you are as holy as I am. So I tell you, center yourself now and always. Your salvation is not found in the actions of others, only in your reactions. In the process of interacting with others, the first question is, who am I now, and, for that matter, who do I want to be? 29 The highest choice is what will love do now. The master is the one who always comes up with the same answer, and that answer is always the highest choice. What option is the highest option? If this issue really concerns you, you are already on your way to becoming a master. Because the truth is, most people continue to be preoccupied with another issue entirely. It's not what is the highest choice, but what is the most beneficial choice. Or how can I lose the least? Now, let all who have ears to hear, listen. Because, I'm telling you, in all relationships, at critical junctures, there is only one question, what will love do now? There is no other pertinent question, no other meaningful question, no other question of any importance to your soul. 30 You and others are one. There is no one else but you. The highest choice is the one that brings you the highest good, and your own highest good becomes the highest good for others. What you do for yourself, you do for others. What you do for others, you do for yourself. This is because you and others are one, and there is no one else except you. God only calls you to include yourself in those you love. God even goes a step further and advises you to put yourself first. Putting yourself first, in the highest sense, will never lead to a godless act. If you are doing what is best for you, but it turns out that what you are doing is an ungodly act, your confusion should not be whether you are putting yourself first, but it should be whether you have misunderstood what is best for you. 31 Love is not about being a victim. Love is not about being a victim, and treating others with love does not necessarily mean allowing others to do whatever they want. Treating others with love does not necessarily mean allowing others to do whatever they want. Sometimes one has to go to war to make a statement about who one really is, the greatest statement ever made by a man who hates war. Sometimes you may have to let go of who you are in order to be who you are. It is the same in the most individual and personal relationships. More than once, life may ask you to prove who you are by acting out something you are not. This does not mean that if you are hurt in a relationship, you have to hurt it back. That's not what it means when it comes to relations between countries. It simply means that allowing others to continue causing harm may not be the most loving thing to do either for yourself or for others. In fact, there are no evil things, only objective phenomena and experiences. You define yourself by what you call evil, and by what you call good. So the greatest evil is to claim that nothing is evil at all. Choosing to be godlike does not mean you have to choose to be a martyr. It certainly doesn't mean you need to choose to be a victim. Speak the truth from your heart, kindly but completely and completely. Live your truth, gently, yet completely and consistently. 32 There is no obligation, only opportunity. You are under no obligation. There are no obligations in relationships or in all of life. You are in the business of creating yourself. You call a life of total freedom a spiritual anarchist. And I call it God's great promise. You have no obligations in a relationship. There is only chance. Opportunity, not obligation, is the cornerstone of religion and the foundation of all spirituality. As long as you look at it from the other side, you're missing the point. Marriage is a sacrament. But not because of its sacred obligation, but because of its unparalleled opportunity. In a relationship, never do anything out of a sense of obligation. Whatever you do, make the decision out of the amazing opportunity your relationship provides you and be who you truly are. 33 Enter relationships with purpose and see all problems as opportunities. Your job on earth is not to see how long you can stay in a relationship, but to decide and experience who you really are. This is not a defense of short-term relationships, but there is no requirement that relationships be long-term. However, although there is no such requirement, it must be said that long-term relationships do provide great opportunities for mutual growth, mutual expression, and mutual achievement, and that, with its own rewards. For most people, love is a response to need fulfillment. Find the tools to build long-term relationships. Entering relationships with purpose is one of them. If you both agree on a conscious level, the purpose of your relationship is to create opportunities for growth and full self-expression, not obligations. The opportunity to elevate your lives to their highest potential, to be healed of every wrong thought or mean thought you have ever had about yourself, and to achieve final union with God through the heart-to-heart communion of your two souls. If you adopt this vow to replace the one you used, your relationship will be on a very good foundation. It started off right. That would be a very good start. How to continue? Know and understand that there will be challenges and hard times. Don't try to avoid them. Welcome them with gratitude. See them as great gifts from God, glorious opportunities to do what you came into relationship and life to do. At these times, try very hard not to view your partner as an enemy, or someone who is against you. In fact, try not to see anyone or anything as your enemy. Or even a problem. Develop your skill in seeing all problems as opportunities. So that you have the opportunity to do and decide who you really are. 34 Be God's messenger and awaken everyone. The job of the soul is to awaken yourself. God's job is to awaken everyone. You can do this in two ways, by reminding them of who they are. But it's very difficult because they won't believe you. Or by remembering who you are. This is much easier because you don't need their belief, just your own. Showing this regularly will eventually remind others of who they are because they will see themselves in you. Many masters have been sent to earth to demonstrate eternal truths. You are such a messenger. You are all special. It takes a lot of courage to declare yourself a man of God. Do you want to? Does your heart long to speak the truth about me? Are you willing to endure the ridicule of your fellow humans? Are you ready to give up worldly glory in order that the greater glory of your soul may be fully realized? To share eternal truths with others. Not out of the need to gain glory, but out of your deepest desire to end the pain and suffering of others, to bring joy and happiness, as well as help and healing, to restore to others the connection with God that you have always experienced. A sense of partnership. I have chosen you to be my messenger. You and many others. For now, at the present moment, the world will need many trumpets to sound the clear call. The world will need many voices to speak the words of truth and healing that millions crave. The world will need many hearts united to do the work of souls and ready to do the work of God. 35. Think independently, create yourself, and be the person you really are. Please tell me, what formed the basis of your decision? Your own experience? No. In most cases, you decide to accept another person's decision. Someone came before you and assumed to know better. The decisions you make every day are rarely made by you and based on your own knowledge of what is right and wrong. This is especially true in matters that matter. In fact, the more important the matter, the less likely you are to listen to your own experience, and the more ready you seem to be to claim another person's ideas as your own. It clears the need to think. There is no right or wrong. But through your decisions, you can paint a portrait of who you are. Do you feel comfortable with these portraits? Are these the impressions you want to create? Do these portraits represent who you are? Be careful about these questions, they may require you to think carefully. Thinking is hard. Making value judgments is difficult. They place you in a position of pure creation. However, most of you have no interest in such an important job. Most of you would rather leave that to others. So most of you are not self-created, but creatures of habit, creatures created by others. The temptation here is that all you have to do to get instant approval is agree. Not only may others not celebrate, they may actually make fun of you. What? Are you thinking with your own brain? Are you making your own decisions? Are you applying your own measuring stick, your own judgment, your own values? Who do you think you are? And, in fact, that's exactly the question you're answering. But this work must be done very much alone. Very unreciprocated, without praise, without anyone even noticing. 36. When there is nothing to do and nothing to do, you give life purpose. Why did you start on such a life path? The reason is ridiculously simple. There is nothing else to do. This is the only game. You were on the road before you were born. The only question is, are you doing it consciously or unconsciously? You live most of your life with the results of your experiences. Now you are invited to be its cause. That is what is called conscious living. That is what is called walking in awareness. Now you know it has no purpose except the purpose you gave it. Your lifelong mission is a statement about who you are. Do you think you have to do it? You don't have to do anything. Less pain and no more wisdom defeats your purpose, it does not allow you to experience the endless joy that is what I am. Be patient. You are growing in wisdom. And your joy is now increasingly available without pain. You can even get through your pain without pain. Don't you think this can be called growth? 37. Change your wrong thoughts about money. You always have the idea that money is bad. You still have a fundamental thought about money. That is, there is not enough of it. This insufficient human consciousness creates and recreates the world you see. They are such wrong ideas. In fact, there is no such thing as right or wrong. There are only things that are good for you and things that are not good for you. Right and wrong are relative terms, and when I happen to use them, I use them that way. In this case, relative to what is good for you, relative to what you say you want, your money thinking is the wrong thinking. Remember, thoughts are creative. You're not really sure what's true for you. And the universe is just a big photocopying machine. It simply makes many copies of your thoughts. So, there's only one way to change that. It means you have to change your thinking about money. 38. The fastest way to change a fundamental thought or initiate thinking is to reverse the process of thinking and behavior. The quickest way to change an underlying idea or initiate thinking is to reverse the process of the thought-verbal act. Do the behavior you want to think new about. Then say the words you want to think new about. Do this enough and you can train your mind to think in a new way. New ideas are your only chance. It is your only real chance to evolve, to grow, to truly become who you truly are. Your mind is now filled with old thoughts. Not just old ideas, but mostly other people's old ideas. You rarely have thoughts that leap from self-made materials, let alone from self-made preferences. Your own fundamental thoughts about money are an important example. Now is the time to change your mind about something. This is what evolution is all about. 39 The soul only pays attention to the state of your existence. Doing things is a function of the body. Existence is a function of the soul. Your soul doesn't care what you do for a living, and you won't care when your life is over. Your soul only cares about what you are when you are doing whatever you are doing. What the soul pursues is a state of being, not a state of doing things. Yes attracts yes and produces experience. The soul seeks God, but the self it seeks is very complex, very multidimensional, multi-feeling, and multifaceted. In seeking to be me, the soul has a huge work ahead of it, a huge menu of yes from which to choose. Then arise the right and perfect conditions in which to create the experience of that state of being. So, the true thing is that nothing that happens to you or through you is not for your own highest good. Now, in this moment, your soul is creating another opportunity for you to be, do, and have what you need to know who you really are. Your soul brings you to the words you are reading now just as it has brought you to words of wisdom and truth before. What are you going to do now? What would you choose to be? Your soul waits and watches with interest, as it has done many times before. I don't care about your worldly success, only you do. The true masters are those who choose to create a life rather than maintain a life. From a certain state of being emerges a life so rich, so complete, so majestic, and so rewarding that worldly goods and worldly successes no longer concern you. The irony of life is that once worldly goods and worldly success no longer concern you, their path opens up to flow to you. Remember, you can't have what you want, but you can experience whatever you have. 40 Replace I want with I am. The word I is the key that starts the engine of creation. The words I am are extremely powerful. They are statements, commands to the universe. Now, follow me. It calls forth the great I am. Whatever comes after the word often appears in the material world. Because thought and language are creative. When a thought or a word is expressed, and expressed again, it becomes exactly that, expressed. That is to say, it was launched. He becomes an external realization. He becomes your physical reality. To change your reality, simply stop thinking that way. Instead of thinking, I want success, think, I have success. My success is coming now, or everything leads to my success. Affirmations alone won't work if they are just statements about what you want to happen. Affirmations are only useful if they are statements about something you already know to be true. The best so-called affirmation is a statement of gratitude and gratitude. God, thank you for bringing success in my life. Now, that thought, spoken and acted upon, produces a miraculous result, when it comes from true knowing, not from an attempt to produce a result, but from an awareness that the result has already been produced. Now, if there is something you choose to experience in your life, don't just want it, choose it. 41 Balance body, mind, and spirit, the Holy Trinity, that is, God incarnate. Don't underestimate what your body is doing. It is important. But not in the way you think. The actions of the body are meant to reflect a state of being, not an attempt to achieve a state of being. What is meant by the statement your life is not about what your body is doing. However, really, what your body is doing is a reflection of what your life is about. You are not on this planet to produce anything with your body. You are on this planet to produce something with your soul. Your body is simply the instrument of your soul, and your mind is the force that makes your body do what it does. So what you have here is a powerful tool for creating what your soul desires. Discovering that life has nothing to do with the body may create an imbalance on the other side. While the entity initially acted as if the body was all that mattered, now it acts as if the body didn't matter at all. Of course, this is not true, if the entity remembers it quickly. You are a three-part being, made up of body, mind, and spirit. You will always be a three-part being, not just while you are here on earth. At the time of death, the body and mind are not thrown away, but the body changes form, and the mind still walks with you, joining the spirit and body to become a three-dimensional energy group. In fact, you are all one energy with three distinct characteristics. The body and mind together do not need to do anything to control the soul, because the soul has no needs at all, unlike the body and mind, which are bound by needs, and therefore allows the body and mind to do whatever they want. Okay. Obedience is not creation and therefore can never produce salvation. The soul never transcends the body or mind. I created you as a three-in-one being. You are three beings in one. Made in my image. The three aspects of oneself are not equal to each other. Each has a function, but no one function is greater than the others, and no one function is actually prior to another. Soul gestation, mind creation, body experience. All are connected to each other in a completely equal way. The function of the soul is to indicate its desires, not to impose them. The function of the mind is to choose from among its options. The function of the body is to express that choice. God became flesh when body, mind, and spirit were created together in harmony and unity. The soul then really knows itself in its own experience. Then heaven truly rejoiced. 42 You can improve your health by changing your thoughts. Worrying is almost the worst form of mental activity, second only to hate, which is very self-destructive. Worry is unconscious. It is wasted mental energy. It also creates biochemical reactions that harm the body. When worry stops, health improves almost immediately. Worry is an activity of the mind without understanding its connection to me. Hatred is the most damaging mental condition. It poisons the body and its effects are truly irreversible. Fear is amplified worry. All diseases are first created in the mind. Thoughts are a very subtle yet extremely powerful form of energy. Words are a less subtle, but denser form of energy. Action is the most intense. Once negative thoughts take physical form, it is very difficult to reverse their effects. Of course, it's not impossible, but it's very difficult. It requires extreme faith. It requires a strong belief in one of the positive forces of the universe. It is this kind of faith that healers have. By solving the problems in your mind, you can solve some health problems. Yes, you can heal some of the conditions you have been given to yourself, while also preventing major new problems from developing. You can do all this by changing your thoughts. 43 Many physical diseases are caused by your lack of will to live. Many physical illnesses are caused by your lack of will to live. You mess with your body and pay little attention to it until you suspect something is wrong with it. You're really not doing anything in terms of preventative maintenance. You take better care of your car than your body. You don't exercise, so your body becomes flabby and fat. What's worse, the less you use it, the less effective it becomes. You don't give it proper nutrition, so it becomes weaker. Then you fill it up with poisons and the most ridiculous substances pretending to be food. However, in the face of this blow, this magical machine still works for you, and it still pushes forward bravely with a chugging sound. If you've ever lit up a cigarette in your life, let alone a pack a day for 20 years, you have very little will to live. Because you don't care what you do to your body. And if you've ever drank alcohol, your will to live is very low. The body is not designed to drink alcohol. It damages the mind. 44 You are the body of God. Now I want to explain to you the ultimate mystery, your precise and true relationship with me. You are my body. Just as your body is related to your mind and soul, so are you related to my mind and soul. Therefore, everything I experience through you. Just as your body, mind, and spirit are one, so are mine. 45 God is infinite, and there is no limit to what you can become. Now I am telling you that one day you will know some even greater truths. For just as you are my body, I am also the body of another spirit. I'm telling you that your perception of ultimate reality is narrower than you imagine, and truth is more infinite than you can imagine. I'm giving you a tiny glimpse of infinity, and infinite love. Forever is longer than you know. Eternity is longer than eternity. God is bigger than you think. Imagination is bigger than God. God is the energy you call imagination. God is the first thought. God is the last experience. And God is in everything in between. In the largest possible way, there is no God. Or maybe, all is God and nothing else. I tell you, I am what I am. And you are what you are. You are in the process of growing, in the process of becoming. There is no limit to what you can become. You are already a God. You just don't know it. 46 Without karmic debt, you will always be a living being with free choices. There is no such thing as karmic debt. A debt is something that must be repaid. And you are not obligated to do anything. Some choices depend on, the desire for them arises from, what you have experienced before. That's the closest explanation that words can give to what you call cause and effect. If karma means having an innate desire to be better, bigger, evolve, and grow, and seeing past events and experiences as an indicator, then yes, karma does exist. But it doesn't ask for anything. Never asked for anything. You are, as you always have been, a being with free choices. 47 There is such a thing as having supernatural powers, and you are a psychic. There is such a thing as having supernatural powers. You are the psychic. Everyone is. There is no one who does not have what you call psychic ability, there are only people who do not use it. Tapping into your psychic abilities is nothing more than tapping into your sixth sense. 48 Sex is pure joy. Sex is pure joy, sex is the energy of life. To enjoy sex and celebrate sex is to enjoy life and celebrate your existence. And sex games. Play with it. It's just about the most fun you can have with your body, if you're speaking strictly from a physical experience. Don't ruin the innocence and joy of sex, its fun, joyful simplicity by misuse of it. Do not use it for power or hidden purposes, do not use it for self-glorification or domination over others, do not use it for anything other than giving and sharing with each other pure joy, the highest ecstasy. That is love and recreated love, that is new life. Nothing divine can ever be achieved through negation. However, when given a glimpse of a greater reality, the desire changed. So it's not surprising that some people desire less, or even no, sexual activity or physical activity of any kind. For some, the activities of the soul become most important and by comparison more pleasurable. Everyone does his or her own thing, without criticism, that's the motto. There is much more that can be said about sex than can be said here, but nothing more basic than this: sex is joy, and many of you make sex anything but joy. Sex is sacred too, yes. But joy and holiness do go together, in fact, they are the same thing, whereas many of you think they don't. Your attitude towards sex constitutes a concrete and subtle example of your attitude towards life. Life should be a joy, a celebration, and instead it has become an experience of fear, anxiety, dissatisfaction, jealousy, anger, and tragedy. The same thing can be said about sex. Just as you have suppressed life, you have also suppressed sex, unable to fully express yourself with indulgence and joy. Just as you have shamed life, you have shamed sex, calling it evil instead of the highest gift and greatest pleasure. Nothing is given to you to be ashamed of, let alone your body and its functions themselves. There is no need to hide your bodies or their functions, or your love for them and each other. The energy under sex is the energy under life, that is life. The feeling of attraction to each other, and the strong and often urgent desire to be closer to each other, to become one, is the basic drive of all living things. I put that innateness into everything. It is innate and inherent in all that is. The moral laws, religious precepts, social taboos, and emotional conventions you have placed around sex, and, incidentally, around love and all life, have made it impossible for you to celebrate your existence. Throughout history, all people have ever thought about is loving and being loved. But throughout history, people have done everything within their power to make it impossible for them to love and be loved. Sex is an extraordinary expression of love, love for others, love for yourself, and love for life. So, you should love it, and you do love it. You just can't tell anyone that you love sex, you don't dare to show how much you love it, otherwise you will be called a pervert. However, this is pervert ideas. 49 extraterrestrial life and interstellar visits do exist. Is there life on other planets? Have they visited us? Are we being observed right now? Yes. 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 50 God is always with us. I am always with you. You don't need this in book form. This is not the only way I speak to you. Listen to me in the truth of your soul. Listen to me in the feelings of your heart. Listen to me in the silence of your mind. Conclusion. The complete content of the book is shared in the Facebook community. Abayo Tells News / Abayo Tells Stories. https://www.facebook.com/groups/201167509509587098 5/files/files